Welcome back, guys, to Pirate Talk Radio. This is episode 126. I hope everyone is doing quite well. I know we just got done with our stream, Community Day stream. Episode wasn't quite ready to go out prior to Community Day. I think last week I put in like 75 hours of work. It's my amount of weekly work, which I thought was starting to get under control, is not in control at all. It's insane, right? It's been rough, but still trying to power through. You can hear in my voice that I think yesterday I woke up and had, it sounds like some sort of congestion. I've been pumping that vitamin C. Been pumping the immune system, all those lovely supplements to hopefully fend off whatever winter flu is coming around. I know people at my office and things like that have been recently in this weird flu / head cold / sinus / chest cold thing. I'm hoping it's not my turn because I don't want it. Normally I with the eating routine that I do and the supplement routine that I do and exercising, usually I stay relatively sickness free, I will say. But every so often, usually about twice a year or so, I get something that just puts me on my ass, and I'm really hoping that this is not that, and I'm really hoping to avoid that. But I had a fun time on Community Weekend this weekend. Once we got through some of the, well, let's be frank, some really bad issues that we'll talk about here, mainly because of the updates that they did leading up to the PlayStation 5 announcement, which we're going to talk about as well. So things that they needed to do on the back end to get themselves set up off the Xbox dev platform and on a platform that will allow them to code the game, build the game for multiple different platforms, including PC, PS5, and you never know, maybe Nintendo Switch. We got some interesting tidbits this week as they announced Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation 5. Other rare games have also made it to other consoles. So, interesting topic of conversation that we'll get into a little bit. But let's first talk about something that I've been yelling about, complaining about for years. And that is Sea of Thieves' lack of attention / lack of urgency when they release updates to get them quality quickly. Sometimes they push an update and it's a couple weeks, it's a month, it's 2 months before they actually do some sort of maintenance in order to get things fixed. And usually they have saved maintenance windows for the worst of the worst. And I've always said that they need to kind of come in line with industry standards around maintenance windows and really reset their servers once a week and utilize that time to push fixes. May it be server performance fixes, maybe it be bugs or exploit fixes. Whatever that case may be, I've been saying to make the game healthier, to get the issues out sooner, they need to do weekly maintenance windows. Well, they finally did it. And boy, did they do it. Obviously, whenever Sea of Thieves makes a post in Discord, I see it on my phone. It just pops up as like a notification. I don't usually use Discord on my phone, but it pops up. I have certain like key things like Sea of Thieves updates and stuff flagged just so I know what's coming. And it felt like for the better part of a week, every other day, the servers went down for some sort of maintenance. And I was a little bit concerned between the last Saturday stream and the one that we just had on Community Weekend. I'm like, the servers weren't that bad on the last stream. And I'm like, man, is there something really, really struggling, something really, really broken right now that they're diving into? I don't know. I really honestly have no idea. I think a lot of this was in preps for their PlayStation 5 announcement and kind of cleaning stuff up after their February update, which was again in preparation for giving PlayStation users access to Sea of Thieves starting at the end of April. And I'm guessing things just didn't go through cleanly, or things were a little bit messy or something. I didn't really get a lot of complaints from people. Usually, folks in the Discord will quickly say, hey, this maintenance window did something, and hey, this feels better, this feels worse, type thing. I didn't see a whole lot of chatter around that. But when I played this weekend on Community Day, server performance was the least of my concerns. It was the least issue that I had, was the server performance. Servers felt good. Now, again, we are still at reduced ship cap, which they addressed in the most recent Sea of Thieves news, which we'll also discuss. But overall, server performance felt good. It felt like we are improving. Obviously, when Season 11 came out, they had to reduce the ship count. Like, servers were rubber banding. They had the map table and the quest table issue where it would lag out the entire server. It really feels like a lot of those server performance issues, which plagued the beginning of the season, have been addressed. I don't know if everyone's experiencing that, but I can say that usually on Saturday streams, I'm not sailing in my area. So I'm not sailing in North America. I'm usually on a UK server because that's where my crew's from. And my opinion is, yeah, I'm the one streaming, I'm the one making content, but they're playing as well. And they're spending their late evenings or early mornings playing with me. And I feel that they should have a good play experience too. So I always have them roll the boat so that way they have the least amount of lag possible. And then I just, I deal with 110, 120 ping. It's fine. I suck at combat anyway, so what's a little extra ping, whatever. But server performance this weekend felt great to me. It felt good. The challenge was the most recent update. The update to prep for PlayStation and developing for other consoles and the DirectX 12 support, it really struggled. Drew mentioned it in the most recent Sea of Thieves news that this was coming, but what he failed to mention, because he probably didn't know at the time that this was going to happen, but this most recent update on Xbox and on PC, both from the Xbox Store and Steam, seems to have an issue where it doesn't affect everyone, but you do the update, you log into the game, and the game thinks you're on an older version of the game. Even though you could check for updates in the Xbox app, you could check for the updates on your Xbox itself, you can check for updates on Steam, and nowhere will it let you update because you are on the most recent version. But when you actually get into the game, I think it's Lavender Beard or one of the beards pops up and says your game is in the wrong version. My issue with that is quite simple. There's no fix for it. There is zero fix for it. I tried to log out. I tried to log back in. Same issue. I restarted my computer. Same issue. I tried Steam versus the Xbox. Same issue. The only thing that fixed it, which is very unfortunate, is uninstalling the game and reinstalling it. So I was curious if other people were having the same issue. So as we know, there are Twitch drops during Community Weekend. So I was listening to a couple streamers and people were filling their chat. Hey, I can't get into the game. I updated it and it won't let me in. So it wasn't just me, thankfully. It was happening across the board. I don't know. I don't think it happened to everyone. And I think some people who might be playing a little bit more each week than I am may have noticed it earlier in the week and it didn't affect their community day and because they already uninstalled and reinstalled. But just keep in mind, when you're playing on PC, Steam is an exception. You can control how much internet power is going into Steam to download a game. When you're playing on the Xbox version, you can't control that. It's all throttled. It's like Blizzard's Battle.net. There's nothing you can do, regardless if you tell it. There's Battle.net has a throttle that you can say, don't use this, whatever. It still throttles it. And it does the same thing with the Xbox app on PC and Xbox. It throttles you. So instead of being able to utilize my gig service, I was downloading at like 19, 20 megs, which when you're talking Sea of Thieves, uninstalling the game and reinstalling it, that's 100, it's 100 plus gigs. 100 plus gigs. That's a long time. In fact, I already had my stream going when I found this issue, so I wasn't going to turn off the stream and come back later. So I just sat there and talked to folks in chat about the game. I talked to my friends who were in the game, and it was an hour. It was over an hour to get back online. And again, the thing that why I'm bringing this up is it sucks. It sucks for the players because it wasn't the players' fault that Rare decided to go with this new development platform. It wasn't the players' fault that Rare finally decided to upgrade their back end to work on the latest versions of DirectX and things. It wasn't the players' fault that Rare made the right decision to go to PS5. It's yet the execution of the dev team which hurt players and took time out of our busy schedule, time out of our leisure time, in order to download and get your game working because your patch failed. And again, I don't know if that's a Microsoft servers issue or what, but at the end of the day, it's Sea of Thieves. And I will continue to say that, and I know I get a lot of flack from people that we need to give Sea of Thieves and Rare a little bit of leniency because they are on the Microsoft servers, and sometimes it's a server issue and sometimes whatever. No, it's sorry, I don't buy that. It's Sea of Thieves. If you go to a grocery store and you get a box of Bertolli pasta and you open that box up and there are mouse droppings in the box, do you go to Bertolli and complain? No. You go back to the store and you complain that there's mouse droppings in there and this is unacceptable. You go back to the store and you get your refund or you get your exchange or whatever it is. If you get a bottle of milk or something and you open it up and it's curdled, yet the best buy date on it is from a month from now, but it's already starting to rot and decay, you go back to the store and you complain to the store. The store didn't jug that, they didn't fill that jug with milk. They didn't do that. They didn't stamp it with best buy dates. They didn't stamp any of that stuff on there. But you go to the people that you get it from. And that is, I'm going to yell and complain at Rare when something like that happens because it's their game, right? Microsoft is hosting the server. So yeah, it could be a server issue. Steam controls the downloading and stuff like that. Sure. But at the end of the day, it's Sea of Thieves. And that's who I am going to blame. Because if it's happening to more than one person, it should have been caught in testing. It was happening to enough people that I could see it in Twitch chats for Behaving Beardly and Beardageddon and Boxy Fresh. I was seeing it in their chats, which means it's happening to enough people that Rare should have caught that in their quality assurance testings. And this, again, is an ongoing issue that I'm complaining about, but it's really starting to get to a head really quickly, especially with some of the exploits we're going to talk about. So though I had a great time once I was able to get into the game, getting into the game was the challenge on Community Day. It was a barrier to entry. And it's a barrier of entry you don't want. You don't want the barrier of entry to be actually logging into your game when it is a popular event and when it's meant to play with friends and meet new people and enjoy the spoils of a community day. That is not when you want access issues to your game. And it wasn't because of an influx of people. So anyone out there that's thinking, oh, well, Community Day is an influx of people, don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap because Sea of Thieves has had way more, concurrent players on the platform in the past. No. It wasn't because of an influx of players. It was because of the back-end changes they're making and the poor quality assurance that they have. So, what else was an issue on Community Day because of this patching? Here's a big one. Players were experiencing, including myself, the inability to invite or join your friends. So for PC, Windows key G brings up the Xbox game bar, you find your friend, you right click on them, you join game. or you right click on a friend and you invite to game. That was not working. You couldn't do it in the game from the Xbox console. You couldn't do it from PC. You just couldn't do it. Now, did this affect everyone? No, it didn't affect everyone. It's just like their login issues. But it affected enough people that it's a problem. On a day where we're supposed to be celebrating the community, when we were supposed to be enjoying time with friends and sailing around, you couldn't play with your friends. Now, there's a way around it, and we found the way around it was you and your friends had to be in the same guild. You can't assume that, you know, you and the rare can't assume that players that are, you know, friends are in the same guild. There's a lot of guild options that you can be in out there, but maybe people, one, don't really like guilds. Again, I don't see the point of them. Or two, they don't, they're not in the same guild. But if you're in the same guild, you could go into the guild, find the ship that your friends are sailing on, and join it. Now, again, you have to be in the same guild and all that fun stuff. You have to have the ship set up properly for guild invites and things like that. But again, it's just a barrier to entry on what is supposed to be a day when we all play with our friends, we all play with the community, and we all have a good time in this community, in this game known as Sea of Thieves. And it just wasn't working. So on a again, the season 11 community day, once I got in, I had a blast. I had a lot of fun, got a little PvP in, ground out some Merchant Alliance, which, by the way, let's be clear, Merchant Alliance needs an update real bad. First off, the sunken ships still bug out where you can go through the entire thing and all that's floating there is the manifest. Wow, just garbage. That has been a bug since day one of lost shipments, and it's still an issue all these years later. And you just don't, when you're doing Merchant Alliance, sure, you can do the fleet, sure, you can do the forts and whatever, but in general, it's just, unless you're diving, if you're just sailing around, unless you're selling, diving, selling, diving, selling, diving, or taking part in any of the numerous reputation exploits out there right now, there's not much out there for the Merchant Alliance. Especially of the new loot. Like if you dive and go to a fort or you dive and go to a raid event, there's loot there, right? There's some of the new loot. But if you're just out traveling around, I've gotten the gold hoarder chests on digs. I've gotten Order of Soul things. But for Merchant Alliance, it's just, it doesn't feel as equal. It doesn't feel as accessible to get those nice quality new pieces of loot as it is for Order of Souls and Gold Hoarder. So that was kind of a bum. As you all know, with my work schedule, I don't get to play a whole lot. So trying to get those emissary awards at the end of the month is very challenging. I know right now Order of Souls I'm good on, and Gold Hoarder I'm good on. I was hoping to get Merchant Alliance done, so next month I could work on Athena and maybe a little bit of Reapers in there. But even Athena, you got the Fort of Fortune, you've got the Veil missions. It is much easier to get Athena reputation than it is to get Merchant Alliance reputation. Now, I'm sure if I went and did Noah's Ark and I went and did deliveries of the rum and the cloth and the plants, I'm sure there's more opportunities there. But just getting merchant crates out in the world, it's still the basic tea and sugar and stuff like that. And it's just, it doesn't sell for a lot, even grade 5, even on community day. And it doesn't give you a whole lot of emissary value / reputation. So I really do feel that they need to do something with the Merchant Alliance. They need to inject some of the merchants' new loot out into the world like they have, or give us or fix, let's be honest. If they just fix lost shipments, I would be fine with Merchant Alliance. Because lost shipments are exactly what the Merchant Alliance needed back in the day. They've just been broken forever. So, thank you for those of you, by the way, who came by and said hi during the community weekend and comes by and checks out the stream on Saturday. Remember, you can watch it on Twitch if you prefer Twitch. twitch.tv/Davrim, Davrim. Or if you haven't checked out the the Pirate Talk Radio YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/@ Pirate Talk Radio. The stream is there too. It dual streams from both. I am looking at the chat for both. So if you think I'm only looking at the chat for one, no, I've got a monitor right next to me. It's right here. Nice tall monitor right here, and I have both chats on here. So by all means, please come by on Saturdays. Usually around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll start sailing and have a good time. So servers are fixed, login issues and access issues bad for Community Day. Exploits also bad, and we're going to dive into what those are. But first, we have to talk about the people who are not bad in any way, shape, or form, and that is our wonderful, glorious, and notorious patrons who continue month after month to support my loudmouth and the content that I do. So I want to take the moment and thank Skamelt666, Lane, iGeffus, L-Cute, James, Big Bad Pad, and Regis Stella. Thank you very much for continuing your support on the Patreon. Again, if you would like to join the Patreon, you can go over to patreon.com/DavrimTV. There's a variety of different tiers. All the tiers get you access to a limited, little name tag in our in the Pirate Talk Radio Discord. Shows that you're an awesome person and you're supporting the content. And it gets you the episode up to a day before everyone else. So you get early access. You can start talking about it. You can start sharing it around. You get early access to that. And there's some other perks the higher up you go. But it starts at $1 a month. And the support is greatly appreciated. It was actually allowed me recently to buy some new fans for my PC. I know sometimes when I'm streaming and my little office down here gets warm, my PC fan sounds like it's a helicopter it's about to take off. So thank you to the patrons for that money, because I use it to reinvest in the equipment that I have in order to keep the show going. So thank you very much. So early on in Community Day, people were jumping on the Athena bandwagon, and there was a reason for that. Since season 11 started with the new diving mechanics, people have been posting YouTube videos. I'm not going to give any of those people credit. If you are, halfway smart with YouTube searching, you can find them. Since season 11 started, people have been blasting YouTube with exploits on how to get gold, how to exploit the dive system in order to get reputation, to get you up to 100 and then prestige it, along with getting piles of gold. So there's exploits for gold, there's exploits for reputation. So I knew with all these out there, Sea of Thieves, if they did not take action on that, what was going to happen was Community Day was going to start off with exploiters on top of exploiters, and it was just really going to, with the grade 5 along with the Community Day emissary flag, it was really going to inflate a lot of things. And don't get me wrong, I really don't like having a Community Day or a Golden Glory weekend at the end of a month, because people who have spent the little time they have to get their emissary leaderboards up to get their awards, and then maybe they're not allowed to or not able to play on Community Day, all that hard work, and it just sometimes gets thrown in the toilet because everyone is using exploits or everyone is slamming out on the high reputation and the higher multiplier, and just blasting you. So I don't know. I should probably check my gold order and Order of Souls, to be honest, to make sure I'm still on the top. But the Community Day started with exploits in Athena. Now, Rare has said on Community Day, they have a very sparse staff. It doesn't surprise me. Rare doesn't really do much on the weekends. Even though it's software and their game is live service, they have a very skeleton crew on the weekend. It is what it is. But one of the most popular exploits for Athena is sea forts and veil duping. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on how this works, but at the end of the day, basically you dive for a sea fort, You get a key for the vault, the ending vault from another sea fort, and you can utilize that key to open your raid sea fort, die, open the door, and the loot just keeps populating. It's basically stacks itself because you leave the area, the raid is still going on, the loot repopulates. It's really an oversight on Rare that they allowed that to come through. But this is not just Athena. It's just Athena is one of the hardest to level up. So of course, when you have the multiplier like Community Day, people are going to do this, and they did. The other one that is out there that's very popular is the Veil Voyage duping, and that is if you get a Veil Voyage to finding the sunken ship, you can cancel the voyage, start the voyage, cancel the voyage, start the voyage, cancel the voyage, start the voyage. And for some reason, instead of going into the randomization, it gives you the same exact ship voyage or sunken ship system as the last one did, and as the last one did, and as the last one did. And what's happening is basically the ships despawn and all the loot floats to the top. The ships respawn full of loot. You cancel the voids, the ships despawn, all the loot floats to the top, you vote the thing, and you can see where this is going. So that's a major issue. On top of the already existing issue, which is you can do an event, bury loot on an island, dive, come back, do an event, bury the loot on the same island, dive, come back, do an event, bury the loot on the same island, and just keep diving from raid battle to raid battle. And though you won't have the map of where you buried everything, if you remember where you buried everything, like buried in the same spot by a tree, you dig all that up because somehow the loot follows you through the burial, and it'll also follow you through the shrine mermaids as well. The new diving system, though excellent for the game, and gets you into an event very quickly, and it gets you in action very quickly, which is something Sea of Thieves desperately needs, especially if we're going to PlayStation 5 and we've got a lot of new players. Because if you look at some of the Xbox reviews and Steam reviews, people will pay for 20 minutes and say, this is boring, there's nothing to do. Well, sometimes, if you don't have the wind with you, it could take you 20 minutes to get to somewhere. So it needed something to get people right into the action. And though I still love sailing and I don't dive a whole lot, unless it's like right at the start of the session to get to a raid and get the stuff kickstarted, I still enjoy sailing around. I play Sea of Thieves because it's a sailing pirate game. And so after my first dive, I will continue to sail sometimes for the entirety of the stream or the PlayStation and never dive again. So for some folks, this is great, but for others, it's kind of takes away from the game. But again, you can do your own thing and not dive. You can just sail around. But what it's also introduced is a variety of different exploits for money and reputation. And here's why I continue to say the Insider program is not the right way to QA your servers. When I was researching these dupes and these exploits, I went on the Rare forums because I was curious, because I knew this stuff was being talked about. And on the Rare forums, I found this particular post, which is very interesting to me. I won't tell the author or anything like that, but it says, I was casually playing, doing Veil of the Ancients, and I needed one more haunted island. So I was trying to get it, but I kept getting the same shipwreck quest. Shipwreck went down southeast of Wanderer's Refuge. I should note that I was doing this through the Captain's Voyage system, so I could cancel it and replace the multiple of them, and you know that system. So I decided to sail to shipwrecks and just do it. But then I got there. All the loot from the previous voyages I had canceled had floated up rather than despawning. The chests that normally would have contained the Veil Stones did not float up, but they did not despawn either there, and just were floating in place under the water. They did not have the stone in them, but still had 2 Athena trinkets. I only canceled about 3 times before I gave up, but imagine someone canceling a full thing 50 times this. But tons of gold and trinkets, Athena trinkets, skulls, etc. This person stands by saying that Insiders does not work in its current state because stuff like this gets by. And that is exactly my point. Is these things, the Seafort key thing that was happening over Community Day, the Veil Voyage duping, and the Athena loot duping, or loot duping in general, all this stuff, mind you, was brought up in Insiders. It was posted in Insiders for Rare to review. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was Rare and I was introducing a really cool new system that was and a prestiging system that we wanted players to grind out for a bit, would probably be looking for things like this. So Rare had all the information from the insiders on their insider forum, told them that this was happening, showed them how it was happening, screenshots, logs, everything like that, and they did nothing. In all those maintenance windows, and the fact that Season 11 has been out for over a month, these issues were still there and reported them to Rare prior to Season 11 coming out. So why even have an Insiders program? Why have players who you're giving shit rewards to, not money, but shit rewards to test your game and provide feedback, who care about your game? The players who are posting on the forums from Insiders legitimately care about this game and care about the health of the game. I used to do Insiders all the time, but I gave up. Why? Because I would test thoroughly and provide them feedback, and I would give them screenshots and videos and all the data that I could possibly give them to see this, and that issue would still make it to release. And there were major issues like duping loot and things like that. So that tells me Insiders is a garbage program. It's a waste of time because Rare is not caring about it. Like, come on now. You can't say that they care about the Insiders program like they say on their podcast and their videos and stuff, when literally the Insiders are doing their job, posting and telling you about this, and you're doing nothing about it. Sure, you have to comb through probably a lot of posts from Insiders every single day. But hello, I literally have a tool on my work computers from Microsoft. It's part of the O365 suite for business. It's called Copilot. You know what Copilot is? For those of you out there who have no clue, let me tell you. It's like ChatGPT, but it's for searching through emails, and it's searching through, like, you could set it for forum posts and whatever. That you are part of Microsoft. Get Copilot on your forums, so when you see all these threads, you can tell it, give me a quick, summary of what is going on in here. Give me a quick readout of what's going on in here. It's a Microsoft tool that literally I could have an email that has 50 thread pieces to it. I don't want to read all that. I don't want anything to do with that much time. So I can just click my little Copilot button, and it summarizes like a massive chain of emails into a simple like paragraph that I can get the gist of everything. Now, is it 100% all the time? No, but it's pretty damn good whenever I've used it, and I've used it for a couple weeks now. And it works the same for Teams chats and Teams meetings, all the Microsoft products. So I don't know if they don't have the people in order to go through these insider posts. I don't know if once they get it to insiders, if it's already like, oh, we're already shipping this, it doesn't matter what they say. I don't know. But to me, the insiders program is useless and pointless because the feedback is being provided and nothing is being done about it. At least nothing is being done before it hits the public, which is what the insiders program is meant to do. And then the other reason I stopped doing insiders is because a lot of people were just like, fuck, Rare's not going to listen to me. So might as well just sit here and put like a little weight on my keyboard and run in circles for an hour because I just want my cosmetic. It's very sad to me that you would have a program rolled up to get player feedback and the players test the absolute shit out of your game, provide you the feedback, and you do nothing with it. At least you do nothing with it the way it was meant to be, which is fixing major issues before launch. So this plagued the start of Community Day. In fact, I had a couple listeners that popped into the chat during the Community Day, and They were like, man, I was wanting to grind out Athena, and all the loot all of a sudden just dropped in value. Like, I'm talking significantly. Items which were worth thousands were worth hundreds. Like, they chomped it. And they did release a statement. There was a statement in their official Discord, and I could read it for you because, again, I took a screenshot of it because it notified me. It says, after close monitoring of today's events, we've made some temporary changes to the value of select loot items to ensure a fairer reward for certain behaviors. A fairer reward for certain behaviors. So what you really meant was the players provided you the feedback to ensure that these issues didn't hit your game. You didn't listen, and you put out garbage code, which caused exploits. And players out there who were doing things legitly are now punished because you didn't listen to your quality assurance testers, your players, to begin with. You've allowed it to stay in the game for this long. And now you have a community day. People are brutally abusing the system. But instead of actually fixing it in all the time that you've had to fix it, what did you do? But you just nerfed the value. So, yeah, it hurts the exploiters, but they're still going to exploit. And it hurts the legit players who are not exploiting and just saw their value of these items get tanked. I don't understand their thought process here. You had all the information in the world to fix this before you released it. You failed to do so. It's been all over YouTube for the entire season of 11. There's an exploit video out at least once a week, if not twice, 3 times a week, talking about Gold Hoarder, Order of Souls, Athena, whatever the case may be. I feel like we're getting to a point where Rare's social media team, Rare's outreach team, I don't know what they do. If you're a social media team and you're not spending the time to look at how people are talking about your game on every form of social media, you are failing as a social media team. Absolutely failing. Your job is not just to put out cool, content, put out things about owls and put out Elmo crashing through the thing. That is not your job. And if that is your job, then I'm sorry. Craig over there, the head of Rare, needs to rethink what a social media team's job is. Their job is not only to be putting out nice new content, driven by the creative and production team, but their job is also to be monitoring what is out there about the game and bringing it to the attention of people. If you are not paying attention, if you are not on a daily basis typing in to YouTube Sea of Thieves exploits and hitting enter and seeing the most recent videos, if you are not Google searching Sea of Thieves exploits and seeing Reddit post, Twitter post, Reddit post, Sea of Thieves forum post, if you're not seeing that, you are not doing your job as a social media team, and Rare is failing as a studio to address these things prior to them hitting the sandbox. It's absolutely asinine that they continue to do this and there is no accountability, and they're just like, whatever, we'll fix it when we fix it. And then you hurt players who are legitimately playing your game, and you're turning them off from playing their game because, there's a lot of people who listen to this show who I'm sure you're out there exploiting, but there's also a lot of people who listen to this show who do everything legitly, and they know about the exploits, but they choose not to do them because they want to play the game the way the game is meant to be played. And Rare will pat you on the back, but they're also going to nerf the shit out of it because of all the other people that are exploiting. It's absolutely asinine. Pop-up plunder, by the way, was something else you could exploit. Because you could do a pop-up plunder, sell it, dive, do pop-up plunder, sell it, dive, do pop-up plunder, sell it. So their entire diving system, which again, I'm all for, has caused ridiculous amounts of exploits and issues with the game. And like I said, it's been out for a while. The exploit videos have been out there. The explanations of how to do them have been out there. And Rare has done nothing to address it. We've got some exciting things to talk about, aside from servers are performing well. With the implementation of GDK, which is their new development platform, it's they're getting off of the Xbox only development platform and they're moving to a platform that allows them to develop for cross-platform things, which again broke our ability to play the game. We had to uninstall, reinstall, whatever. There are other things that this allows them to do. As I mentioned, server performance is going up. It's improving. It feels good again. And now that GDK is out and now that they're working through and monitoring, which is good, server performance feels good. Let's continue to monitor. Community Day is usually a good spike and you can see what the performance of your servers are. Drew did provide an update that said, we're letting these patches settle, and if performance holds true, they're going to reintroduce the 6th ship back on servers, which is good. And I feel like a good amount of data would be Community Day whenever they finally started tracking their performance. Like I said, the past 2 weeks, server performance has felt good. So now that they've got a heavy Community Day under their belt, I would say by the launch of PlayStation, if everything continues to feel this good, they should be able to turn those 6 ships back on. But I wouldn't do it early. I would make sure everything is stable and secure because, again, if you're introducing a whole nother platform to this game and you're introducing a whole new fan base to this game, make sure your servers, the core stability of your game, without your servers, nothing else works. Make sure they're locked in for that April 30th launch on PlayStation 5. So I would not turn it on before April 30th. I would maybe turn it on, let's say 3 weeks ahead. So give it a couple more weeks of testing. Turn the 6th ship back on just to see if there's any tweaks you have to make. But make sure when you launch for PlayStation on April 30th, those servers are not in question by any existing player or new player from the PlayStation system. Another issue that Drew mentioned that is broken yet again is the ability to buy merchant and shipwright supplies. So we talk about the rotating door of bugs where they implement a feature, it works, then it doesn't work, then they work, it doesn't work. This one has been an ongoing rotating feature on a system that is honestly very important to this game. One of the challenges for new players and existing players is getting into battle or getting into your sailing session as fast as possible. Barriers to that are sailing time. Barriers to that is supply gathering. So giving us the ability to buy supplies from the Merchant Alliance or from the shipwright through captaincy was a huge quality of life improvement in order to get those play sessions kicked off and underway as quick as possible. Unfortunately, it's also been a system that has broken time and time and time again. And guess what? It is broken once more. And so Drew did address that, and he said that they will be fixing it soon. Whatever that means in dev lingo at Rare, because I've heard people say soon and it's like a couple months. I've heard Rare say soon and it hasn't ever been fixed, though. Drew, maybe you could give us an official Rare definition of what soon TM means. Great. So, for as long as I can remember, I mean, I was playing games back on, this is going to age me, Windows 3.15, 3.5, something like that. 3.15, I think it was. I was playing games before that. I was playing games on computers prior to Windows existing, on DOS machines with big old floppy disks. But the world of gaming changed when consoles started to hit. Everything from the Nintendo to eventually the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Dreamcast, the what is it? The portable PlayStation, the PSP, the Wii. And since then, it has been an ever escalating, let's be honest, console war is the term that everyone uses, where each year or every few years, the console industry tries to up its game on their newest console that comes out to try to be that generation's winner and leader of the console war. There are some people who will always say PlayStation is always better. There are some people who will say Xbox is always better. Not many people will say Nintendo is always better unless that's the niche that you like to be. Let's get one thing straight. PC is better, but we're not talking about PC right now because we're talking about the consoles. And the reason, just for clarity, before everyone jumps down my throat and saying, PC masturbation, blah, blah, blah. I have an Xbox, I have a PS5, I have a Switch. I don't really play on them because the performance I can get out of a computer is vastly superior than what I can get out of an Xbox, a PlayStation 5, and especially a Switch. The hardware that I could constantly be upgrading into my computer, though I don't, my computer hasn't been upgraded in 5 years, and it still blows consoles out of the water. And that tells you a lot. My 5-year-old computer beats the specs on all the consoles which are out right now, the newest, latest, and greatest, which is why PC will always reign supreme. Now, it's also much more expensive, right? When you're talking about a $500 Xbox or PlayStation versus a $5,000 PC, the cost is very different, right? But you get what you pay for. But the other thing that comes with these console wars of is Xbox better than PlayStation? Is PlayStation better than Nintendo? Whatever the argument is, what comes with that is game title exclusives. Things like Halo, things like Mario, things like Sea of Thieves, things like Gears of War, maybe? No, I don't remember. Follow console games too much, but anyways, there is a series of games that are only available on one platform or that platform and PC. Nintendo is one of the worst for this. A lot of their games are not available on PC, just available on Switch. Over time, though, the gaming industry has tried very hard to get their games on multiple platforms with crossplay. And Xbox has led the charge, to be honest, to try to get specifically Xbox Game Pass across multiple platforms. Xbox Game Pass, and I will stand by this and say it's the best deal in gaming. You get the best bang for your buck, and it's an incredible service. I don't even really play my Xbox too much, but with Xbox Game Pass, I get it all on PC, so I still get the benefit of it. It beats PlayStation Pass or whatever theirs is called, and it definitely beats Nintendo's Pass. But there's only been, I think, a few games, maybe even one that I'm thinking about right now. No, Diablo did it, I think. But Minecraft was a game that PlayStation wanted. Obviously, that Mojang is a Microsoft studio. And that cross-platform kind of started, in my opinion, this cross-play, let's start to work our games together. It was the first one because, again, PlayStation knows the value of Minecraft, just like Xbox and PC players. Regardless if you view Minecraft as a kid's game or not, it's one of the most popular games across the world for people of all ages. Move ahead now, and we just are dealing with the Blizzard Activision acquisition by Microsoft, where PlayStation's mad because they don't want Call of Duty to be an Xbox exclusive and all that fun stuff. And it's a whole bunch of posturing and our platform's better. It's a console war, right? You want all the games on your platform so more people buy your platform, stay on your platform, and you make money. It's all about capitalistic greed. That's what it is. Asses in seats, as I say. Xbox wants all the asses in their seat. PlayStation wants all the asses in their seat. And we here, PC users, are just sitting back laughing and sipping on our tea like your all hardware sucks compared to what we're doing. And we have access to all of it, so it doesn't matter. So this week, Rare made the monumental announcement that Sea of Thieves will be coming to PlayStation 5 on April 30th. Now, I think this is a great move. It's going to inject a whole bunch of new players. Some may have played Sea of Thieves on Xbox at their friend's house, or maybe they have an Xbox or they've played it on PC. Who knows? But there will be a considerable amount of new players which are new to the game and have never experienced Sea of Thieves before. And they may have seen Sea of Thieves announcements at E3, or they've heard their friends talking about it, or seen a YouTube video, or seen a Twitch stream or something like that on it. I'm sure people are aware of Sea of Thieves. Maybe they're not. But either way, there's going to be an influx of new players. And this is good for the game, especially a game who's struggled because of the quality of development, that it needs this injection of new players. It needs some new life. And Rare has to do its best in order to keep those players here. You know, players come and go all the time, but there's a point where you have to understand you got to stabilize. Excuse me. And you have to make sure your game is solid and the money is coming in. You can't live off of roller coaster player bases. They have announced also that this will be crossplay. So Xbox can play with PS5. PC can play with both of them. I'm sure there's still going to be a console only toggle where PlayStation 5 will only play with Xbox and vice versa. I doubt that. I'm going to guess that they changed the option of Xbox only servers to console only servers, and that's probably going to how they fix that. I would be surprised and shocked if they do Xbox only servers and then also console only servers and then joint servers, or I would be very shocked if they did Xbox only servers, PlayStation only servers, and then joint servers. I would guess that it would be console only servers and then joint. That's what makes sense to me, and that's how I would handle it. But clearly I'm not the one they're asking for advice on their game. But if they did and wanted to pay me for my time and my managerial skills, we'll fix this game. Now, if you've got friends at Rare that I personally think don't do a good job, they're going to be gone if I take over. But I'll fix the game. We'll make the game good. We'll make the game quality. We'll heighten up that level of quality, or people will just lose their jobs. I mean, I have no problem firing people. Do your job or get out. That's my opinion. Like I don't got time for people who don't do their job. I'm kind of cutthroat about that because I do my job, I do it well, and I exhaust myself doing it. And so if someone is not upholding their end of the bargain, they're gone. So Rare's not going to call me because they don't want to lose half their staff. Or more than half their leaders for sure. But this is a good thing for the game. I'm anxious to see what they do to clean up the game as much as possible before PlayStation 5 comes in on April 30th. They don't have a lot of time. They really have one full month. And then it's here. So it seems like April 30th based on, let me see here. It was like, trying to remember what the, will they be coming in still in season 11? I feel like they should be coming in season 12. So season 12, they gain access to the game on the 30th. Season 12 should be out on the 2nd, I would think, if they keep to the 3-month timeline. So PlayStation players should be able to get in ready to go and ready to play at the beginning of season 12. But for you fans out there who might not just be Sea of Thieves fans, but also might be Rare fans, check out Nintendo Switch. There are quite a few Rare titles that are also coming to the Nintendo Switch that were announced this week. And why this is important? It's important because, again, it adds new revenue streams to Rare, so they can beef up some staff if they need to, or hire more folks, whatever they need to do. Their games are going to be on other platforms, and they're going to have a new revenue stream coming in from that. And games which I know one of the biggest games people wanted to see on that list was Banjo-Kazooie. It is not on the list, but Rare has done work for Nintendo in the past, and I know in their little Sea of Thieves going to what was it going to PlayStation 5, one of the comments they made, and I haven't done the math, but they said that they haven't done this in 30 years or whatever. And I'm sitting here doing the math, and I'm like, that might actually line up because they did Perfect Dark and they did 007, and both of those were on a Nintendo platform. Um, so I'm not sure if that statement was 100% accurate, but thinking back, I think I was older than 7 when those came out. I don't remember when those came out, but it might have been 30 years by now. But I know that statement kind of caught my ear because they have done games on other platforms. So it's just been a while. So, but yeah, if you're a Rare fan and some of those titles, they'll be coming to your Switch if you have one. If you don't, go get one, because Switches are a lot of fun, especially when you're going around. But what leads me to my next topic here to finish this up is, will we see a Sea of Thieves on Switch now? Obviously, Rare has that relationship with Nintendo from their past work together. It is now on Xbox, PC, and soon to be PS5. Switch makes sense. Now, I've played Sea of Thieves on a Steam Deck. It plays fine. In fact, last year at Festive Legends, a couple of my friends were playing on Steam Deck. I was playing on I was playing on a desktop. Someone else was playing on a laptop. We had a full galleon. It was a lot of fun. I've also seen people who have modified their Switch and have played Sea of Thieves already on a Switch. The button combinations are all there, just like an Xbox controller, just like a PlayStation 5 controller. It's all there. The hardware is there. It should be able to run. It doesn't take that much to run the game, to be honest. So I'm not sure if we'll see it on the Switch. Maybe the next generation Switch, whenever that's going to be coming out, when the hardware is beefed up, maybe a little bit more. But end of the day, yes, I could definitely see Sea of Thieves coming to the Switch based on the fact that it's already on the mobile console of Steam Deck, and I've seen it also being played on a Switch as well through a little. There are ways to do it, but I'm not going to get into that right now because that's modifying a device and breaking a whole bunch of rules on that. But Steam Deck is a little different because it does use the cloud-based gaming system versus the internal hardware. So I'm not sure, but I could definitely see this game coming to Switch, which would be another huge amount of players coming into the game, which again is not a bad thing. So guys, thank you very much for your patience in getting this episode out. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your ongoing support. If you haven't done so already, please go over, hit that follow button on Twitch, twitch.tv/Davrim. Please go over to youtube.com/@Pirate Talk Radio. Hit the subscribe button over there on YouTube, even if you listen to this on your most recent podcasting app. If you are on a podcasting app, please hit that follow button. Please make sure you also leave a review. If I haven't done 5 stars, you probably need some Q-tips because clearly my voice is 5 stars. Check yourself before I wreck yourself. Anyways, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. And hopefully next episode, I won't sound like, I'm struggling with head cold and stuff. And hopefully I'll get some rest and not be working 75 plus hours a week. Save me.